Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this video, we discuss two more lessons from the book Al-Qira'atul Waziha Part 1st. That is lesson numbers 7 and 8. In lesson number 7, we learn very important grammatical element of Arabic grammar, which is very frequently used in Arabic sentences. This is demonstrative phrase, which is the combination of demonstrative pronoun, that is haza, hazi, etc., ismu ishara, and the noun being pointed to, that is musharun ilay. For example, hazal kitabu, this book. Hazihil fakihatu, this fruit. Zalika rajulu, that man. Tilkal bintu, that girl. All these are demonstrative phrases, or we can say pointing constructions, and demonstrative phrase is called al-murakkab al-ishari, al-murakkabul ishari in Arabic. This becomes a single unit and can be used only as one part of the sentence, as we need some more words, one or more than one, to complete the sentence. So this is the combination of ismu ishara and musharun ilay, demonstrative pronoun and the noun pointed to, and this becomes a single unit and can be used mostly as mubtada, and then we have to bring another words or word to complete the sentence. Now we have to understand a very important difference between haza kitabun and hazal kitabu. So what is the difference? Haza kitabun is translated as this is a book, while as hazal kitabu is translated as this book. So as we have already learned that in nominal sentences, the mubtada, that is the subject, should be marifa, that is definite, and khabar, that is the predicate, should be nakira, that is indefinite. And this condition we find in haza kitabun and not in hazal kitabu, because here haza as well as al kitab both are marifa. So the first combination, that is haza kitabun, is a complete sentence in which haza is mubtada and kitabun is khabar. The first one is marifa and the second one is nakira. While the second combination, that is hazal kitabu, constitutes a demonstrative phrase or al-murakkab al-ishari, which can be used as one part of the sentence in a joint form, and then we have to use other words to complete the sentence. So therefore haza kitabun is translated as this is a book, and hazal kitabu is translated as this book. We can see some more examples here. So this is a table which you can see on the screen. On the left hand side, we have demonstrative phrases made up of ismu ishara and musharun ilay, and on the right hand side column we have a complete sentence in which demonstrative phrase acts as mubtada, and then we have used other words as the khabar to complete the sentences. So the first one that you can see here is hazal kitabu. It means this book, and this combination, this phrase is used as mubtada in the second case, which you can see in the right hand side column. Hazal kitabu, this book, Jadidun is new. Hazal kitabu jadidun. This book is new. So hazal kitabu jointly is mubtada and jadidun is its khabar. Then another example is hazihil khizanatu. This locker. Hazihil khizanatu qadimatun. This locker is old. Here hazihil khizanatu, demonstrative phrase, demonstrative construction, a pointing construction, is mubtada and qadimatun is its khabar. Then we have zalikar rajulu, that man, and in the second column you can see zalikar rajulu tawilun, that man is tall. Tilkal bintu, that girl. Tilkal bintu zakiyatun, that girl is intelligent. Another important point we have to learn here is that the Arabic nouns are of two types with respect to the change or the stability of vowel marks of the last letter of a noun. So in that respect, nouns are classified as mu'arab, that is declinable, and mabni, that is indeclinable. Al-mu'arab is one type and the other type is al-mabni. What is al-mu'arab or the declinable noun? Al-mu'arab is that noun in which the end case changes with the change in its function in the sentence. As the function of a noun changes, it changes its end vowel marks. In Arabic, most of the nouns, almost 95% or even more, nouns are mu'arab, declinable. Here is an example of how mu'arab or declinable noun changes its end case or the harakat of the end letter with the change of its function in the sentence. So when the function changes, the end case or the vowel marks of this noun changes. So here you can see how this change happens. So looking at the example which is visible on the screen, the first sentence is Ja'a Khalidun. Ja'a Khalidun. Its translation is Khalid came. Ja'a Khalidun ilayya. Khalid came to me. Or Ja'a Khalidun ilal masjidi. Khalid came to the masjid. So here the noun Khalid is in nominative case as it is subject or the doer, and it is in halatul rafa. That means it is marfu. That's why we see it is end case as dhamma. So at the last letter of Khalid, which is dal, there we see dhamma, Khalidun. And now looking at the second example, that is Ra'aytu Khalidan. Its translation is I saw Khalid. Here the noun Khalid is in accusative case, that is in halatul nasb. That means it is mansoob. That's why we see the last letter of the noun Khalid as mansoob having fatha. Ra'aytu Khalidan. In the first case it was Khalidun. Now in this case it is Khalidan. Now look at the third sentence. Nazartu ila Khalidin. I looked at Khalid. Here the noun, again the noun Khalid, is in genitive case. It is in the halatul jar, and that means it is majroor. So here Khalid is majroor because of harfu jar ila, and we can see that its end case is jar, it is kasra, and we read it as Khalidin. So in the first one it was Khalidun, in the second one it is Khalidan, and in the third one it is Khalidin. Such type of nouns which change the end vowel marks or the end cases with the change in their function in the sentences. So this issue will be explained in a detailed manner later on during the study of this course. The other kind of noun is known as al-mabni, indeclinable noun. So indeclinable noun is that noun which remains static or which remains stationary on its original form under all varied conditions. Seven types of noun fall under this category, which will be discussed at some length at the appropriate time. So demonstrative pronoun and also all the pronouns belong to this category, that is al-mabni or indeclinable nouns. Here demonstrative pronoun is one among these seven kinds of al-mabni nouns or indeclinable nouns. That means demonstrative pronouns or any other pronoun like haza or zalika or tilka, etc., will remain in their original form under all conditions. So there is no change in their end cases or in their end harakat or end vowel marks. For example, we have given here one example where we can see that in all the varied conditions there is no change to the demonstrative pronoun. So the demonstrative pronoun we are using here is haza, and you can see that haza remains as it is in all the three conditions. The first one is haza kitabun, this is a book. The second one is ra'aytu haza, I saw this. And the third one is waza'tul kitaba ala haza, I put the book on this. So in these three sentences you see that haza remains as it is. There is no change in the form and shape of haza or in the harakat of its last letter. In all these sentences, sentence number 1 haza kitabun, number 2 ra'aytu haza, waza'atul kitaba ala haza, we see that haza remains unchanged in all the three conditions. There is no change in the end case or end harakat of it. We have already learned in the previous lessons that if a noun comes after any preposition after the harfu jar, it becomes majroor and usually takes kasra. But this is not the case with the mabni nouns. One example we have seen here of haza. So in the third sentence you can see waza'atul kitaba ala haza. So there is no change in the form or in the harakat of haza in spite of that ala is used before it. Now let us see the examples from our book where harfu jar or preposition is used with the demonstrative phrase. So we can see in these examples that the effect of harful jar, which is usually kasra, will appear in the musharun ilay, not in the ismu ishara, because musharun ilay is morab and ismu ishara is mabni, and there is no effect of harfu jar on any mabni ism. So here we have examples where musharun ilay is morab. That's why we can see kasra with the musharun ilay. So the first one is haza baitun. It is a complete sentence and it means this is a house. Now in the second column we can see that harfu jar is used with the demonstrative phrase. So this is the first example which you can see in the second column where harfu jar is used with demonstrative phrase. Fi hazal baiti hujratun wa matbakhun wa hammamun. So here it is very clear that harfu jar fi is used, but its effect, that is the kasra, appears in the musharun ilay, not in the ismu ishara. So that's why we read it fi hazal bayti hujratun wa matbakhun wa hammamun. In this house there is a room, a kitchen and a bathroom. The second example is zalika faslun, that is a classroom. In the second column you can see that harfu jar fi is used with the demonstrative phrase. Fi zalikal fasli mudarrisun wa tilmizun. In that classroom there is a teacher and a student. Hazihi hujratun, this is a room. Fi hazihil hujrati sarirun wa minzadatun wa kursiyun. In this room there is a bed, a desk and a chair. Tilka hujratun, that is a room. Litilkal hujrati babun wa nafizatun wa fathatun. For that room there is a door, a window and an opening or a small window. Or we can also translate this sentence as that room has a door and a window and a small window, that is opening. We can understand the use of ismu ishara, the use of demonstrative pronoun in all the three forms, that is separately as a mubtada, or then in a connected form, in a joint form with the musharun ilay as a demonstrative phrase. Then in the third form, that means when we use any proposition with the demonstrative phrase so that the effect appears in the musharun ilay. For example, pointing towards a building, if somebody asks, what is this? So he will say, ma haza. In answer to this question, we say, this is a house. Haza baitun. Now the house, that is bait, has become definite, that is, it has become known. Now the questioner will ask another question as, how is this house? Kaifa hazal baitu, using the demonstrative phrase hazal baitu. We say in its answer, this house is new. Hazal baitu jadidun, using the same demonstrative phrase hazal bait. Then he asks one more question as, and what is in this house? Wama fi hazal bait. The answer will be, in this house there is a kitchen, a bathroom and a bedroom. So fi hazal baiti matbakhun wa hammamun wa hujratun naumi. In lesson number 8 we learn another important grammatical construction or grammatical combination which is known as possessive or annexed phrase, and in Arabic is called as al-murakkab al-izafi, al-murakkabul izafi, which has two components. One is known as muzaf and the other is known as muzaf ilay. Muzaf comes first, then comes the muzaf ilay. So muzaf is the possessed thing and then muzaf ilay is the possessor. For example, Kitabu Khalidin, its translation is Khalid's book. So here Kitab is muzaf or the possessed thing and Khalid is muzaf ilay, that is the possessor. This will be explained in detail along with all the related issues in the next video, where we will discuss lesson number 9 and lesson number 10 inshallah. Here we simply try to memorize the following annexed or possessive phrases, that is al-murakkabul izafi, and learn to use them in the sentences. So these are the al-murakkab al-izafi or possessive phrases which are used in this lesson, that is lesson number 8. So the table is given here which is visible on the screen. The first one is ismi. It is the combination of two words. One is ism and the other is ya mutakallim, and both are joined together as muzaf muzaf ilay as murakkab izafi. Its translation is my name. Ismuka, your name. Ismuki, your name, but this is muannas because you already know the difference between ka and ki. Ismuka, your name, male, and ismuki, your, that is female's name. Ismuhu, his name, and ismuha, her name. Then ibnu majidin, here ibn is muzaf and majid is muzaf ilay. Its translation is Majid's son. Ibn means son and Majid is his father's name. So Ibn Majidin, Majid's son. Ismul Walidi, Ism means name, Walid means father, father's name. Ismul Binti, daughter's name. But at least we have to remember one important thing here before discussing it in a detailed manner in the next video. So here we have to remember one thing that is very important, that the muzaf ilay is the second noun in the construction of murakkab izafi. That is, muzaf ilay is always majroor. That's why you see in these examples, the last three examples, ibn majidin, so here majid is majroor, and that the effect of it is being majroor you can see in the form of kasra. So that is why we read it as ibnu majidin. And in the same way you see another example as ismul walidi. Again ism here is muzaf and al walid is muzaf ilay, and muzaf ilay is majroor, and that's why we see kasra at the end of al walid. Here we read ismul walidi. And the last one is ismul binti. Again bint, al bint is majroor because it is muzaf ilay. So it is very important that you should remember here that muzaf ilay is always majroor. But we cannot see the effect of jar or the effect of being a majroor because of being muzaf ilay in the above examples where the muzaf ilay is zamir, because we know that zamir or demonstrative pronoun or any pronoun belong to the category of al-mabni, indeclinable noun. So there is no change whether it is in the mansub place or whether it is in the majroor place. So that's why we read it as ismi or ismuka or ismuki, ismuhu, ismuha. In all these constructions, in all these cases, we can't see the effect of jar, which is normally kasra. It is because all these pronouns which are used here as muzaf ilay belong to the category of mabni. Now we are in a position to read the text given in these two lessons, that is lesson number 7 and lesson number 8, and can also translate all the sentences used in these two lessons. But before that we have to memorize the meaning of any new word which is used in these two lessons. The new words that are used over here are given in two tables which you can see on the screen. So before reading the text or before translating it, it is necessary for us to remember or to memorize all these words along with the translations which you can see on the screen. This is ad-darsu sabi'u. Ad-dars means lesson, as-sabi'u means seventh. Ad-darsu sabi'u, seventh lesson. Here on the top we have some words, some nouns in the indefinite form as well as in the definite form. Shajarun, this is nakira in the indefinite form, and it means a tree. Then after the application of alif lam, the definite article al, it becomes ash-shajaru, means the tree. Ghusnun, a branch of the tree. For example, al-ghusnu, the branch. This is the definite form of ghusnun. Fakihatun, al-fakihatu, means fruit. Al-hammamu means the bathroom. Tariyun, it means moist or wet or fresh. Yabisun means dry. Nazijun means ripe. Zarqa'u means blue color. Now we learn the use of ismu ishara in different forms. For example, as mubtada, then in a joint form with the musharun ilay as demonstrative phrase, and then that demonstrative phrase is used as mubtada and another word is used as khabar. So in these three columns we can see the different uses of haza. Then the first one is haza shajarun. This is a complete sentence. Its translation is this is a tree. Here haza is mubtada and shajarun is khabar. Then in the middle column you see haza shajaru. Here haza is ismi ishara and ash-shajaru is musharun ilay, and both these two words jointly is demonstrative phrase al-murakkab al-ishari. So then in the third column you will see that this demonstrative phrase is used as mubtada, and then another word, that is tawilun in this case, that is the khabar. So haza shajaru means this tree. Then in the third column you see haza shajaru, this tree tawilun is tall. Then in the second line we have haza ghusnun, this is a branch. Then hazal ghusnu, this branch. Then in the third column hazal ghusnu, the demonstrative phrase or the pointing construction is used as mubtada, and then another word is used as khabar. So we have hazal ghusnu tariyun, this branch is wet or this branch is fresh. Zalika ghusnun, that is a branch. Zalikal ghusnu, that branch. Zalikal ghusnu yabisun, that branch of the tree, for example, is dry. Hazihi fakihatun, this is fruit. Hazihil fakihatu, this fruit. Hazihil fakihatu nazijatun, this fruit is ripe. Tilka sabburatun, that is a board. So sabburatun we can translate it here as a writing board. So tilka sabburatun, that is a writing board. Tilka sabburatu, that writing board, that board. Then tilka sabburatu sawda'u, that writing board is black. So here tilka sabburatu, this is al-murakkab al-ishari, so it acts here as mubtada, then sawda'u is its khabar. Tilka sitaratun, that is a curtain. Tilka sitaratu, that curtain. Tilka sitaratu zarqa'u, that curtain is blue. Now we have tamreen section. Tamreen means exercise. Here we see the use of harfu jar, that is proposition, with the demonstrative phrase, and then the effect of that harfu jar, that is kasra, we will see in the musharun ilay. So here the first one is haza baitun. This is a complete sentence and its translation is this is a house. Then in the second column we have fi hazal baiti hujratun wa matbakhun wa hammamun. In this house there is a room, a kitchen and a bathroom. Zalika faslun, that is a classroom. Fi zalikal fasli mudarrisun wa tilmizun. In that classroom there is a teacher and a student. Hazihi hujratun, this is a room. Fi hazihil hujrati sarirun wa min zadatun wa kursiyun. In this room there is a bed, a desk and a chair. Tilka hujratun, that is a room. Litilkal hujrati babun wa nafizatun wa fathatun. That room has a door, a window and a small window, an opening. Then in the last three lines we have some questions. So as we already know that kaifa and ma or maza are used to ask questions. So here we have first question as kaifa hazihil fakihatu, how is this fruit? Then the answer given to this question is hazihil fakihatu nazijatun, this fruit is ripe. Kaifa tilka sitaratu, so this is the second question. Kaifa tilka sitaratu, how is that curtain? Tilka sitaratu zarqa'u, that curtain is blue. The third question is ma fi hazihil hujrati, what is in this room? The answer given to this question here is fi hazihil hujrati sarirun, in this room there is a bed. Now let us move to lesson number 8. So this is ad-darsu saminu. Ad-dars means lesson, as-saminu means 8th. So ad-darsu saminu, 8th lesson. The first line, in the first line we have ana waladun, I am a boy. Ismi Khalidun, my name is Khalid. So here ismi is possessive phrase, al-murakkab al-izafi, and it has been used here as mubtada and then its khabar is Khalidun. Ismi Khalidun, my name is Khalid. Anta tilmizun, you are a student. Ismuka Sajidun, your name is Sajid. Again ismuka is the combination of ism and ka. So this is al-murakkab al-izafi. Then in the second line we have ana bintun, I am a girl. Ismi Salma, my name is Salma. Anti tilmizatun, you are a female student. Anti means you but female. We already know the difference between anta and anti and ka and ki. So ismuki suadu, your name is Suad. Then in the third line, this is the third person pronoun. Huwa rajulun, he is a man. Ismuhu Majidun, his name is Majid. Hiya mar'atun, she is a woman. Ismuha Zainabu, her name is Zainab. Hazabunu Majidin, this is Majid's son. So here Ibnu Majidin is muzaf and muzaf ilay. Ibnu is muzaf and Majidin is it is muzaf ilay. And Ibnu Majidin means Majid's son. Haza is the mubtada and Ibnu Majidin In the joint form, al-murakkabul izafi is the khabar. In the same way, we have hazihi bintu majidin. This is Majid's daughter. One important thing which is to be kept in mind here is that the first connection is between bint and Majid, not between hazihi and bint. So that is why we have to translate first bintu majidin and ibnu majidin, because this is the murakkab izafi or possessive phrase. So here we have to translate first this part, then connect that translation with the mubtada. So we say hadha ibnu majidin, this is Majid's son, and hazihi bintu majidin, this is Majid's daughter. Haza walidi, again haza, this, walidi, my father, this is my father. Hazihi ummuka, this is your mother. Ismul walidi, muzaf muzaf ilay, ismul walidi, father's name is Majidun. Father's name is Majid. Here ismul walidi, the possessive phrase or al-murakkab al-izafi is mubtada and Majidun is its khabar. Ismul walidi Majidun, father's name is Majid. Ismul ummi Zainabu, mother's name is Zainab. Ismul ibni, son's name, the name of the son is Khalidun. So again here Ismul ibni is muzaf and muzaf ilay, and it acts as mubtada here in this sentence, and Khalidun is its khabar. Ismul ibni Khalidun, son's name is Khalid. Ismul binti Suad, daughter's name is Suad. Then we have muhadasa, and we know that muhadasa means conversation. Here are some questions in the first column and their answers are given in the second column. So the first question is man anta, who are you? The answer given to this question is ana tilmizun, I am a student. Then the next one is masmuka. Again we have to join meme directly with seen, because this is hamzatul wasl, it cannot be read when it comes in between. So we directly join meme with seen. We say masmuka, what is your name? The answer given to this question here is ismi sajidun, my name is Sajid. Then the next one is man haza, who is this? Answer is haza akhi, this is my brother. Masmuhu, what is his name? Ismuhu Rashidun, his name is Rashid. Man hazihi, who is this? Here the question is asked about some muannas, hazihi, because hazihi is for muannas. Man hazihi, who is this? So this is asked about some female. That's why the answer given to this question is hazihi ukti, this is my sister. Masmuha, what is her name? Ismuha Suadu, her name is Suad. Aina waliduka, where is your father? Walidi fi suqi, my father is in the market. Aina ummuka, where is your mother? Ummi fil baiti, my mother is in the house, in the home. Aina uktuka, where is your sister? The answer given to this question is ukhti fil hujrati, my sister is in the room. Then in the next column we have again some more questions here. The first one is man anta, this is the same question as was asked in the first column, but the first one was man anta, who are you? Its answer was given as ana tilmizun, I am a student. Here again this question is asked man anta, who are you? The answer given is ana muslimun, I am a Muslim. Then man rabbuka, who is your Lord? The answer given to this question is Rabbi Allah. We can also say Allahu Rabbi. So here we have choice with respect to the changing of the word order. So we can say Rabbi Allah or we can say Allahu Rabbi. My Lord is Allah. Ma dinuka. What is your religion? Dini al-Islam or al-Islamu dini. My religion is Islam. Man anti, who are you? The question asked is from a female because anti is for female. So addressee here is female. Man anti, who are you? She says ana muslimatun. I am a Muslim woman. Man rabbuki, who is your Lord? She says Rabbi Allah. My Lord is Allah. Then ma dinuki, what is your religion? She says Dini al-Islam or al-Islamu dini. My religion is Islam. Halismuki Suadu, is your name Suad? Here we have to put kasra on this lam of hal so that we can join this lam directly with seen, because again here we have hamzatul wasl, so we have to drop it and connect a lam with seen. So this is halismuki. Halismuki Suadu, is your name Suad? She says Naam, yes. Ismi Suadu, my name is Suad. The last one is Hal anti Suadu, are you Suad? In answer to this she says Naam ana Suadu, yes I am Suad. So in this way we translated the whole text of these two lessons, lesson number 7 and lesson number 8, and learned the use of two very important grammatical constructions, that is demonstrative phrase al-murakkabul ishari and annexed or possessive phrase, that is al-murakkabul izafi, and came to know how frequently these two constructions are used in the Arabic sentences. Now here I would like to close this session with the hope to meet you again very soon in the next video. Insha'Allah. Shukran lakum. Jazakumullahu khairal jazai. Wa alaikumus salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.